Imagine to yourself it's Saturday night, when you and your friends are pumped going to a party. At the party, you're offered a number of alcoholic drinks. At the party, you start to feel a bit lightheaded, and walking straight is becoming a challenge. It seems like everyone is having a great time, then bam, one of your friends falls to the ground. You hear the whining of the ambulance sirens, and the paramedics yelling, "Clear the area!" You have no idea yet that this was the last time you ever spoke to your friend. How would you feel for the rest of the life? Could you have done something different? Those questions could be answered by 5 families and friends every week in Australia. According to the University of New South Wales, 200 underage drinkers are dying each year from alcohol poisoning, drink driving, and the performance of dangerous stunts. Not to mention the number of teenagers who will have long-term physical and mental health problems from alcohol is increasing every day. Underage drinking is deadly. It must be stopped now, before the next round of questions will be asked. One of the main consequences alcohol has for teenagers is the exposure to greater physical risks. When alcohol chemicals molecules bind to nerve receptors in the brain, they depress the movement of neurotransmitters. As such, consequences arise, such as a decrease in decision-making skills, coordination, physical control, and memory loss. As the brains of teenagers are still developing and their bodies are maturing, their reactions won't be as sufficient as adults, increasing the negative consequences of alcohol on their body. Another horrific consequence which teenagers are facing when drinking alcohol is brain damage. As the brains of teenagers and young adults is under development, it creates complex synapse connections on a daily basis in order to work more effectively in adulthood. Moreover, a wide number of researchers have determined that alcohol is altering and stalling the connection between synapses, leaving the young adults with permanent brain damage. In addition to that, alcohol also damages the hypothalamus region of the brain, which affects the ability to learn and remember new information. According to the CDC, underage drinkers would often experience limitations with their memory and cognitive skills for the rest of their life. All of the health and mental problems we had above are 100% preventable by avoiding the underage consumption of alcohol. You might be asking yourself, "Hey Daniel, what if all my friends are drinking together? Would I develop fewer social interactions?" Look, you might miss on some potential social interactions in the short term, but this would largely benefit you in the long term. We know that underage drinking impacts mental health. We know that underage drinking increases the rate of fighting. We know that underage drinkers will also have more school-related problems in their reduction in both absenteeism and their grades. We know that in the long term, underage drinking increases homelessness and the risk associated with suicide and homicide. We know that underage drinking can lead to the misuse of other recreational substances, such as narcotics and the abuse of alcohol in later stages of life. We know that there are other, more safer ways to have social interaction. Now, imagine to yourself a world where alcohol abuse would decrease. Imagine that less families would suffer from the loss of their loved ones. Imagine that our friends and family would experience less grief. Imagine the drop in homelessness of young adults. This could be the world we would live in if we address and educate our next generation about the fatal consequences related to underage drinking. So remember, exposure to alcohol from a young age has a number of consequences on underage drinkers in their physical health, their anatomical development through adulthood, and their mental health. We could help to limit this problem. This could be as simple as talking to your siblings, friends, colleagues about the consequences we heard about today. before they become the next victim, and another round of devastating questions will be asked. Thank you.